All right, ladies
die?
and gentlemen, we're here for the third edition
Was that
of
Eddie
the
Guerrero?
podcast. And I'm starting right now because we're talking about Mike Tyson. And I'm going to bring up something to you guys. I want to hear your thoughts. So back in the 80s when like Mike Tyson was at his peak and just cocained up, he went to a zoo. He like took his girlfriend, right? And you know, he sees a gorilla and he's like getting all fired up. Like, yeah, what's she looking at, mate? Like all that kind of thing, right? And supposedly he offered the zookeeper $10,000 to let him inside so he could fight the gorilla. What are you guys' thoughts? Could have the great Mike Tyson pulled it off?
I would have seen him only in pictures.
You've only seen him in pictures? You haven't seen his moves?
No, I mean like I would have seen him literally in pictures, and there would be roses on his grave.
Yeah, wouldn't go too well, would it?
Was it a silverback?
I think it was. I don't think like Mike Tyson looking at something like baby
Doesn't matter.
chin.
It doesn't
Just
matter.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
This one's fresh from the womb. I'm going to take it on. Nah, I reckon he's looking the biggest
shocked.
bad motherfucker.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
Have you heard that before?
I'm taken back. No, I have not.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is next level fucked up.
Yeah, right.
Here's a follow-up question. So if Mike Tyson can't do it, who wins, a gorilla or a bear? Like a brown bear?
Like a grizzly bear, like just straight up grizzly bear. Wait, grizzly bear versus a gorilla.
Yeah.
I would say grizzly.
I would say gorilla.
Ooh.
I would
Civil
say
War.
kangaroo.
Yeah.
Kangaroo.
Hey, I'm Iron Man and you're Captain America in this scenario. Okay, Civil War right now. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I'll just be Thor. I just like missed my contract. I'm like, okay, can get paid today, new Marvel film.
You can be Bucky. You can be Bucky.
Yeah,
Bucky too. You can Bucky.
I'm gonna take your hands up.
Wait, who's who?
Nick is gonna take your
Who
hands
am I
up.
fighting with?
You're Bucky.
Who's Captain America though?
Nick.
Prantik.
Okay, so
I'm Iron Man.
Bucky, don't worry. I'm gonna save you.
You know what? I'm actually with Prantik in this one. I'd choose a bear.
Hey! You know I took you to like 2-on-1 and I almost won.
That's because you sit in a fake suit.
Yeah, that's a quote. Who are you guys going for?
I'm just a billionaire playboy philanthropist. That's a tongue twister after saying all that.
Philanthropist.
Take away the suit. What are you? Billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Yeah, man. I naturally like Cap and stuff, but
Cap was on 4 times steroids. I need to know his cycle.
It was harder because the last all the Iron Man movies were like finished by the third one, so he was always like incorporated into like the major movies or like a Spider-Man movie and stuff like that. Just because like Captain America movies were still coming out, like after all those were done, after those phases. So I think that's why like some people might favor the other heroes over over Iron Man. But anyways, hey, that's just my interpretation of it all.
You know what?
Back to the topic.
Have we got to talk about fitness now? I was enjoying talking about superheroes, man. Let's just new podcast. This can be what's the name of our podcast at the moment? Forged.
Forged.
Huh?
Forged.
Star Wars rules.
Yeah, copyright.
Star Wars rules. That's our podcast name.
Star Wars rules. Jeez, I can feel myself just moving into my mum's basement right now.
I don't know.
I can feel it. Drinking Mountain Dew.
Nude Master 69.
Yeah.
Remember that in Endgame?
No.
He's just like, hey Thor, that dick online is calling me
yeah.
a dickhead again.
Yeah.
And he's like, Nude Master 69.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nude Master 69. Awesome. That's the one.
Oh.
Have you seen Jojo Rabbit?
Yeah, I have. You guys seen it?
Yeah, where that's the guy that plays Hitler is called. Yeah. Man, I loved it. I thought it was a great movie.
It was, man.
Did you like it?
I did. Did you guys, anyone that's seen it, this will be something that if I say it, you'll recognize it, but if you haven't, I won't give stuff away. The shoe scene. Do you know what I'm talking about when he sees the shoes?
I have no idea.
Broke my heart.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, I can't give it away, or else.
What are you talking
Can we
about?
do
Are we
like
talking about the same movie?
Jojo Rabbit, yeah.
Yeah, the shoe scene. I'm trying to remember it. Hallelujah.
That's right, man. I'll text you off air.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yes, Prantik. Hallelujah. Should we get onto the
Oh,
podcast?
Should we?
are
Should
we talking about? Are we talking about
Yeah,
Scarlett
yeah,
Johansson?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
Oh
brutal. It was so
man,
well done. It was like hinted at in such a smart way the whole film, but like same time you didn't see coming. Yeah,
his reaction though.
yeah, yeah. We kind of sound somber, so the audience can guess something might happen to Scarlett Johansson. You know, not to
Uh,
mention what happens to her in Endgame.
all right. Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Good man. Are you ready
Good.
for our top 2 Prantik?
We are ready to build the love triangle.
Who's at the top? Wait, did I get that right? I don't know.
I know what you mean.
That was bad. That was bad.
My brain
no.
goes one way.
Oh no! Oh no!
Who's at the top?
Who's the 2 pointy edges at the bottom? And who's the 2 pointy?
Whoever brought it up first is at the top.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. So
how's everything?
wow. Wonderful.
Oh, man.
Wonderful.
No, I mean like the news. You want to give us
Oh
the
man.
news and rest
Australia,
of
or not Australia, Victoria, we're fucked.
Yeah.
We got curfews now.
Are you going down?
Dude, Australia's always been going down. I found out in the weekend we lost a goddamn war against emus. And it's like 100% legit. Like, we tried to like fend off these emus and the emus goddamn beat us. So look, Australia, we're not going to fucking beat coronavirus. Let the goddamn emus. So, I mean, yeah, we're on stage 4 restrictions now. So basically, leave the house for, one person I think can leave, Nick, or something like that, yeah? Like,
Yeah, only one person can leave your house at a time.
Wow.
And
Who's
you have a
the
5-kilometer radius.
That feels like house arrest.
Oh, like every day, like someone new can leave. It's just if one member of your household has left to go to the supermarket, that's it. But I'm pretty sure everyone can go for a walk, and to 1 hour max a day. And then
so there's like police.
Like the only exemption, yeah, there's like additional hours, and I don't know about the Defense Force or anything. I'm not sure about that, but I'm pretty. Because it's a 5-kilometer radius, that's how far out of your area you can leave. I'm pretty like the only exemptions to that would be work, but like I'm thinking, well, tomorrow they're about to announce which services will be shut down. And then they said you're allowed to visit your partners. So if your partner lives out of 5-kilometer radius.
Yeah, so today we're talking about home training. So obviously it's a very relevant topic at the moment because, look, gyms aren't really open in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Very relevant. So
yeah, what are you doing over there, Prantik? Are you able to train in, where is it, America?
Yep.
Mate, American can do whatever they want.
Bro, the thing about us is whoever is in power is making the rules. So the rules are, as long as the rules allow us to go to the gym, we are good as if.
Yeah.
Are there any like things like you got to stay 1.5 away or wear masks?
I mean,
like
yeah,
somebody on some a-hole on last week called the health inspector on our gym because it's literally, I don't know what people say, but it's literally difficult to lift in a mask. I mean, it's a physical restriction because we have to wear a mask on our neck when you're lifting. And when you're lifting and it's all sweaty and stuff, you can't put that mask back on your nose. I mean, it's just like wiping yourself and then put it on your face.
So it's mandatory to wear a mask at
now
the
it
gym.
is. Now it is because the health inspector's there and he's like, everybody's got to carry a mask around and only when you're lifting, only then can you remove and lift. But that's not physically possible because if someone is like, taking a sniff of the ammonia and lifting 545 plates, he's going to rip his mask off. and then he's gonna lift it. You know how, you know that feeling. We've all been through
Yeah.
that. And that it's physically it's restraining. So if it restrains you, you're gonna
I
tear it
walk
off.
500 meters from my house and I'm out of breath and I have to take my mask off. For God's sake.
And to those people who are
it's taken a
saying that
while.
masks, there's a scientific experiment where masks do not restrict you from breathing, are wrong. What if you have bad breath? You're gonna die in there, like. So you're gonna be like, think of.
I actually felt like I was part of that last week. Like I was sniffing my own breath. I actually do not have like a mint or anything or chew gum or anything like that while you have a mask on. Your eyes will burn up. Like it's a legit thing. So like yeah, the whole smelling shit, it's real.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Think of Darth Vader.
Well, yeah, but times 10,000, right?
Probably
Well,
doesn't
literally.
brush. He's got.
I
too
don't
much
think he has to worry about breathing.
I don't know.
Just does it for him.
Well, but so talking back on mask perspective, Conor, let's start with you. Since I have the script open in my hand, so we're talking about COVID talks. What you and clients have available during this time. So I guess let me reframe that question in a curry way. So so what have you guys been up to?
Not Vindaloo, guys. Not Vindaloo. Just making sure.
Butter chicken. So what have you guys been up to? Nick was about to say something. Go ahead, Nick.
Tikka masala.
So since you guys are personal trainers and obviously your occupation is personal training, working one-on-one with people and working very close to people, obviously COVID-19 has affected you. It is nothing new. Everybody understands, everybody realizes that. But how have you guys modified to the recent change in situation when we are not going to the gym, and how have you guys stayed in touch with your clients and retained them? Client retention.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Man,
that.
so over here, like finding weights was like just as bad as toilet paper at a stage, pretty much. It's like crazy. It was bought out everywhere, and like prices of like, let's say like, you buy a kilo of weights. You used to be able to expect, it to be between $2 and $4 per kilo.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, for certain plates, like up to 10 to 12. Like supply demand is crazy here, right? At the moment. So like we
Never realized how expensive shipping rates went.
How much was your shipping? Because yours was close.
It was weighted. So I don't I
Okay.
can't exactly remember, but it was starting to get a bit. Yeah, there was no like spend a certain amount, receive free shipping. It was I'm pretty sure when I ordered from Again Faster, it was over $100 of shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, mine was about 9.
But I was actually just about to say like not about the rates of shipping or anything like that, man. Like if you put something on back order, god damn, does that take a long time to come? Like let's just like Conor, you went through the experience where you purchased what you got something in March and you didn't get it till like July.
I didn't want to talk about this on live television, Nick. My shame stay with me.
Hey guys, just for the viewers to understand, the gym's reopened, all right, and closed again before Conor got his equipment.
God. And it wasn't like it was in, Czechoslovakia. It was in New South Wales, which, not my state, but still not far away. But yeah, we basically were in that position, Prantik, where like you couldn't find anything pretty much. So I think for my clients, was one person I was able to get some weights from their school because they're a teacher. I had a few other people have some bits and pieces around. But a lot of people were just home-led stuff. Some of my more dedicated online people just bought stuff. For me, I was able to get like 120 kilos of like weights, but it was like the classic really thin bar. Like, I actually had more weights, but I couldn't fit more weight in the bar just because it'd be like 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, and I'd get off the bar.
Hey! I did a session at his house, and he used socks as clips for the weights.
God.
Use duct tape.
I actually tried to use
then you have to
didn't work. Yeah,
you have to take it off every time.
Yeah.
Horrible. I heard there was
Pain in the ass.
like a hoarding going on because I I was seeing all these professional bodybuilders from Australia, like they were all because of training and COVID stuff. They were all like grabbing all these weights and stuff, and obviously they had access to it before anyone, a normal public would, because they have more contacts in the industry.
Mm.
And they like flew off everything else. And then there was someone texting that, where can I get some weight? And someone commented, brother, that boat has left dock a long time ago. So
Yeah.
I felt
some
that.
some of the gyms out there were offering like equipment hiring, or like if it was a smaller type gym, they might allow some members to take home equipment. I know recently, I've been able to hire equipment from Good Life. So just getting that, like having that opportunity was actually like really, really beneficial for not just me, obviously for clients as well. So there was that option out there, which is good, because the process of trying to, like everything that Conor was going through was just a nightmare. Having that opportunity was just, it was those little things, it just really, really helped. So there was that, but man, like back at the beginning, and like, so take it March, we had no idea what was going to happen, how long it was going to go on for. So I thought, like, because you kept hearing the number like 6 months, 5 months, 4 months. You're like, oh my God, I might be out of a gym for 6 months. So I thought, I'll just buy like 180 kilos of like weight plates. I got onto it as early as I could. And then and I just did that. And then I got gym floor mats, and I'm like, yeah, I could be really, really sweet, like for a while doing this. But then that was only beneficial for me. When it came to clients, they got nothing. Like maybe like those 2 kilo or 1 kilo pink dumbbells that they had. But like literally, or like what their girlfriends had or whatever, but like absolutely nothing. But since then they've acquired, like 6, 8, 10s, 12s, and so forth. But far out the beginning, like I said, because there was so much like uncertainty about where things were going, I rushed by it. Conor fell on the opposite end of that. He bought at the same time as me.
Time as yours. Yeah.
He ordered the same time. I think I just ordered from the right place.
Yeah. Your place was like, I think it was above $10 a kilo. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think mine was around, I don't know, 7. So look, all things.
You wish you paid more now.
Considered, I think, okay, would I sacrifice like $200 for like, coming there like 3-4 months earlier? Yeah, I would. But hey, I guess it's hard to foresee at the time, So look, I was able to make what do, that's the weights we're talking about. That was like 180 kilos, like proper bar and all that stuff. But like I was mentioning, I was using like the skinny 5 kilo bars, and bars actually broke actually. Yeah, that was terrifying. But yeah, like literally just been trying to do what you can, So
True.
I think like without training, I know Nick's the same, but progression, like we chatted about a few podcasts ago, is like a very important part of our training. So again, you need to be a little bit more creative, maybe if not creative, just understand the principles better. Think a little bit outside the box and how you apply these different things, because you get to the stage where, okay, bar weight is at an end, So you need to find.
Actually, can I ask you a question? How did you find training in like this 1 square meter area, like just literally in that same spot for an entire session? You know how when you go to a gym, you're moving around, it's a bit novelty like. How did you feel just literally being in the one spot?
You know what? I'll tell you what, I didn't mind that so much, but one thing I'm going to be so appreciative of when I come back to the gyms is I do a bit of antagonistic training. So you might like pair like, let's say a pressing exercise with a pulling exercise, for example. With a home gym, if you're going to do that properly, you got to tear apart a whole gym, move things around, or exercise. Oh, my pain in the ass. Like let's say your session would be like an hour. It'd extend a good 20 minutes on top of it. And you're, adding fatigue, moving things left and right. And again, it's a good problem to have. A lot of people didn't have weights, but I'll tell you what, you just appreciate to just grab up a dumbbell from the rack versus just screw off like the little clips and screw them back on to add like 1 kilo. Oh my, yeah, that's.
I mean, reaching failure, as we spoke in a couple of episodes before, reaching failure would be difficult in a home gym. I mean, you can reach failure, but then moving around weights and reaching failure in the next set is difficult, because you have to start by unscrewing them and starting back up from the bottom, and then, you know.
You just have fatigue accumulated just by taking weights and shit up all the time. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a workout on itself. Workout in a workout in a workout. Workout inception.
Yeah. It makes you appreciate mechanics as well, because obviously they're using the hand and the fine, small muscles of the hand and grip and whatnot. And look, you do it all the time. You start to notice the first few days. Like I did a few grip test things, and my grip was so much weaker the first few days because I just wasn't used to it. So it's like, okay, respect to my mechanic friends, but yeah. So I was just going through there, the first slot, and now the second slot in Australia, because there was maybe like I think 13, 14 weeks of isolation.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like a 3-week gap actually for being back in the gym. And then it's back on again. So this current time, I've got more weights and stuff like that, but there's definitely things I miss. Maybe that's something we'll, tackle on in a second with our pre-made questions. But I can't wait to be back, man. There's certain parts I love about it, but certain parts, nay. I think I like, you can play whatever music you want. That's a cool thing. You're not too preoccupied with other people. We've got to share equipment. There's definitely positives there. You can train whatever time. If you feel like, it sounds weird because obviously you're at home, if you're just watching TV and you see like Henry Cavill walk up on the stream and you're just like, okay, that physique is too impressive, you can just go to the garage, get a bicep pump and come back, and your self-esteem is in the same place as before, but you can at least tell yourself you're in a better position, so I think there's like things like that. But
what about client retention? Can you guys talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I'll let Nick tackle that first, then chatting a bit.
Look, to be honest, the most important bit is just give a shit, right? Like care, like reach out, talk to them, ask how they're doing, because, again, like all of us, we're all going through such an uncertain time. So your clients will be definitely doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them had goals pre-lockdown, and a lot of them were probably midway through, phases of their training, or just, halfway through reaching their potential goal, and then next minute lockdown hits and, you start drinking every night, every day is a weekend kind of thing. So I think when it comes to, retention is caring. That's the major thing. I can't stress that enough. But then, when you're talking to them and having these conversations with them, and it could just be general conversations, whether it is, what have you been getting up to? How's ISO treating you?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually these conversations lead down to, like their current level of activity, exercise and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like talking about a needs analysis at that point. So kind of asking them, okay, well, where is your head at the moment? This is what you were doing kind of prior to training. Obviously things got sidetracked and things like that. All right, what equipment do you have, and what can we work with, and things like that. And just kind of offering guidance at that point. Depending on what stage of lockdown we're in, whether we're allowed to do one-on-one sessions or group sessions or whatever, it really that obviously that mattered a lot, but whether they're comfortable seeing you was a different story as well. So if you had, for me, for example, I had clients that just weren't comfortable going out in public in training, right? So those people, when it comes to retention, it's just constant communication with them. It's just constantly checking in, seeing how they're doing, maybe not even necessarily asking about, gym stuff or training stuff. They may be totally out of it. They may be so like just unmotivated or so depressed about the whole situation. The fact that you just check in and just say, hey, how are you?
Matters.
Can go a long way, and you can continuously do that. By the time gyms do reopen, guess who the first person is they're going to contact? You, because you're the one that gave a shit. But those clients that, were looking for something, it's again, having that conversation with them, talking to them about, what their goals are, and then kind of looking, it's hard to plan ahead, especially when you're going to think, okay, well, when are the gyms reopening? Like when you're writing training programs, Conor, you probably run into the situation, and you're like, okay, how long do I run these phases for? when is the gym going to open up? If I run this phase with them, can they basically tie that in when we come back to the gym and we reach to the next phase, to the next phase, to the next phase? You know, so there's definitely so many different things that will happen with different clients. But when you're talking about just retention, it's basically put in the effort for those people that, you know, are asking for it. That's just a gimme, right? But those people that are struggling, literally just constant check-ins, you know, seeing how they're doing and things like that. That's what I would say would be the biggest thing when it comes to retention. And that's exactly what I've done. You know, Snapchat became my best friend in that sense because I have some of my clients on Snapchat, and I was just sending them Snapchats of my food and just, you know, lifestyle and things like that. And they comment back, and you just have good old conversations with them like that. Like, and then next minute, this ISO, I'm training them this time around. You know, they were more comfortable, they were happy, they were motivated, they were, you know, ticking all the boxes to get back ready for things. Unfortunately now I could be wrong, but Conor, I believe we can't really train people anymore.
I don't have any people within the 5 kilometer radius, so I'm done.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is where things get a little harder. So, retention rates. This is the next thing. Okay, well, how do I retain a client now if you know I can't even go out and physically see them? If your clients have equipment at home, which mine do currently now, which is good. Scheduling Zoom calls is a common thing that you see these days. Just literally watching them on a camera, and that just sounds creepy as fuck. But I'm just gonna say that. Simply just, you know, watching them, assessing their technique. But, you know, a lot of the whole program writing, getting them to do something, you know, it's better than nothing at this point. So look, to be honest, I think the Zoom thing really, really helps. Gets things personal. You can watch them. That's probably
creepy.
The next step for it is creepy, but like it's the next step for one-on-one training.
You can watch
at this stage.
Yeah. It's all great what you're saying, but for whatever reason, I was imagining like, you know, whoever your client is has forgotten to turn the camera off, and they're just casually making dinner, and they just hear something in the background. It's like more paprika, and you just turn around, just
hi, Georgie.
Whisking a bit harder, you know.
Imagine that. The clan, hiya, Georgie.
Yeah, legit. Like, you got to turn off the light downstairs.
I would dive in
the
fire. I would dive in the fire.
But that's look, at this point, I think however you go about, you know, coaching them and stuff like that, it's retention is you provide them with as much value as you can. Like any business out there, you provide them with a good service, you deliver a result, all right? And to be honest, you know, if they've got a good range of equipment, there is a lot of shit you can get done. And then you can also think about, you know, all right, well, what type of training will be actually beneficial for them at this point in time that could be, you know, that could help set up training for them when they return in the gym. You know, so, you know, going through these little things right now, like these pre phases right now, training that you like, it's the boring things that we just can't be bothered doing at the gym. We'd rather do the cool shit at the gym, but you're doing it now because that's literally all we have to do. It can be so beneficial by the time we return. The good news is that we've been given a 6-week timeline, right? So we can kind of say, all right, well, if gyms like are planning to open again in 6 to 8 weeks time, maybe not, but let's just say it is, okay? All right, we can really, you know, kind of sit down and work out what we can do between now and then. Say your goal is, you know, to build, you know, to go through a hypertrophy block, you know, by the time we go back to the gym, okay? Or just whatever, right? But let's just say that's the main goal. We can actually sit down, all right, and look at over the next 6 weeks, okay, what can we do now that will help potentiate me to stimulate that type of growth coming, you know, by the time we get to the gym. All right, what can we do now? All right, and then kind of work backwards on there. So there's so many different things we can do, but that's just one example. All right, so looking forwards, all right, and then kind of working backwards and utilizing the time we have right now and the equipment that we have available to kind of get us there.
Conor, can I ask you this same question, but in a different way. I would like to answer, like, I mean, like, obviously, I'm not the host of the podcast where all three of us are, but I have a very interesting question in my mind, as in same client retention oriented. So what I was thinking is, these clients, not everyone has, as Nick mentioned, not everyone has an access to weight, and still they haven't had an access. What about resistance band? It has become very famous nowadays. All those resistance band with those 20 pounds, 30 pounds, I think it maximum goes up to 50 pounds. That's the maximum resistance band I've seen. Where you can latch it onto the door and door hinge, and then you can like pull on it and do exercise. Have any of your clients got those, and how effective has it been?
Yeah, I think I've had a few of them had that, and it's definitely been handy. I think again, just like Nick's mentioning, you work on a needs analysis. You work on, okay, what do you have? And then you might have like a hierarchy in terms of what's bad, okay, good, better, best. And often like what's best is a lot more expensive, not practical. There isn't room in the house for, a bunch of different machines and all the like.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention, if you train mums that have like kids and shit, like that adds resistance, man. Like they jump on your back while you're trying to do shit. It's actually, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So there's been a few people that have had bands, and definitely can be handy. I've had a lot of people, to be honest, just have nothing, and we've still been able to find ways to. Again, you look at the situation. Do you want to maintain? Do you want to progress? And you can find ways to progress. So I've had people sending checking pictures, and they look just as good, if not better than before. You just got to choose the right stimulus. So I think here's sometimes the issue. If you label yourself on a particular category, you might label yourself as a powerlifter, for example. But like Nick's mentioning, sometimes there's benefits to doing things that will potentiate you in the future. With at-home stuff, I mean, there's some exercises that are really hard to do for one rep, like a pistol squat, for example, with basically like a one-legged squat. Is really hard to do in like, the 1 to 3 rep range. That could be like more neural strength heavy work. Yet just like 2-legged, squat you could do for 50 reps. Overall on the whole, for most people, particularly where my clients' usual strength level is, it's definitely been more the metabolic style of things. So a lot of our emphasis has been, working really close to not just your psychological value, but you generally can't move it. A lot of metabolite style training. There's certain implications there, food uptake and stuff like that as well. So again, but there have been people as well that have had all these other different kind of things, and bands can be one of them. So bands provide particular benefits to particular exercises that are really good. Other ones doesn't fit so much. So I know for certain people it's been handy for face pulls. It might be handy to matching the strength curve like a tricep extension. For rows, you might find, for example, it feels really heavy at the back in the contracted position, but it feels really easy at the bottom. So when you come to the gym, if you spend more time overloading the lengthen position, the stretch out position, you'll get more gains there because it's detrained versus the back position is more or less trained essentially. So again, you kind of find the little gaps in people's training. So, I've employed different tempos. There's been more rest period control things, been a lot of isometrics. There's been a lot of few like different things that might seem outside the 3 sets of 8, 2, 0, 1, 0 tempo, rest 3 minutes. You need to look outside that, because if you're like, oh, I'm used to doing 3 sets of 8 with a squat, and now you just got your body weight, I'm sorry, 3 sets of 8 isn't going to cut it.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
If you are trying to progress, I think the first thing, you really need to get that relative intensity that we talked about last week high enough. And definitely metabolite training when you're not used to it. Often your mind can fail before your body. But yeah, you just got to really get after it. So a little bit of programming differences. Like I mentioned with this, just the functionality, you can't move from bench press to a squat to a pull down. You've got to do 1, 2, 3, separately. So there's been different implications, but yeah, whatever clients have got, we've really used. I've used like tables just for inverted rows. I've done. I've got like a few people do a few different
Have
things.
any of your clients lifted that couch? They call it the couch workout, where they're lifting their couch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, I mean, people have been doing it here. Where you slide under your couch and then just lift it with your chest, and then that's your chest press from the couch. And
yeah, it's like a floor press.
Yeah, right. That sounds very dangerous. What if the couch falls on you, and you lose what you're not supposed to lose? And but I mean, like, people have been doing it. It's been trending, home workout, and also has been trending all those bands giving out on people, where they put it on the door hinge, and then they're doing a tricep extension on the back, and whack, it's on your back. It's like a wedgie, a quick wedgie to your neck.
Yeah.
it hurts. Like, I've seen doors fall on people. Like, it's been it's been intense. I've seen those videos, and I feel like the bands are, as Connor, you mentioned, a lot of people has got a hold of the band. Bands are very good up to a certain limit when you're doing it safely and when you're secure, and you test it out on an elephant, or else you're just gonna get hurt. Like, if you do it in stupid ways, and you're gonna get hurt. Especially, not to mention those extendable door chin up bars, which which you just
no.
on those both sides, and you try to chin up with it. It never works. I mean, I've seen
I've never seen that work.
seen the people fall, but there are versions of it. This is for those who are really looking into buying gym equipments. Now we are moving slowly on to what equipments to buy and stuff like that. I've seen chin up bars, like ones that has a hook and that ledges onto the top part of your door. You guys know what I'm talking about. I think is more secure because it creates a fulcrum. That's again a physics term because I'm a big nerd. Creates a fulcrum and then distributes the force. So you have less chance of a failure in that case because the hooks actually hook onto the door. Even if those hinges on both sides give away, you'll still stay hooked on. So with that, introducing that thing, I would like to know from you guys, what has the land from down under been up to in regards to what equipments to buy? Give us a view of what have you guys have brought, because Nick has hoarded, as I see, gym equipments and weights, and some of Connor's gym equipments have arrived and broken off, and that's a sad story. But what are you guys recommending in terms of availability in the current market? Obviously there's a lot of stuff available and there's a lot of stuff not available. Like, you guys have never heard of Peloton and stuff like that. I don't know which age you're in, probably the Stone Age, but I mean, like, in case of availability, what equipments do you have and what is generally available to a public? I mean, a public who generally goes to the gym twice or thrice every week, or maybe 4 times every week, and who's just maintaining general well-being and health. What do you guys reckon? Was that a good question?
It was a great question.
Yeah, like, I think you started off by saying it right. Like, you got to buy what's available. So that's the main thing. You can only get what's available. But I presume most people have resistance bands, like we were just talking about, and like, kind of like you agree. Like, if you have a resistance band, like, okay, like, there's still a lot of shit you can do with that. Like, there's a lot of good things you can do with that too. A lot of creative, exercise that you probably thought you didn't even know you could do. Like, Conor, I know, I'll be honest, like, I don't reckon many people would have honestly figured out the lying leg curl that you were, like, doing with the bands and stuff like that, especially, like, trying to, like, even, like, yeah, it's an exercise that we see people do, but, like, literally, like, doing it like that, executing it in such a way, people probably wouldn't even realize you can do that. People probably wouldn't even realize you can do leg extensions with the damn band as well, so like, if you have access to a band, there's more you can do. Like, when I say a band, I mean just like the traditional, like, red mini ones,
and a good quality one.
Yeah, and a good quality one. Like, there's more you can do other than just attaching it to machines or just doing, like, simple band pull aparts or something like that. Like, there's so much more you can do with that. So if you have one, like, okay, good. Speak to someone that has
get in touch with Nick and Conor.
But if you have, like, a huge exercise library, with that, like, just only that piece of equipment, but if you're a trainer that has a huge exercise library with a band, fuck, great, right? But then, if they have also access to, dumbbells and, like, a range of dumbbells. Let's say they've got, 6 kilos, 8 kilos, and maybe, like, 12 or something like that. You can play with different rep ranges at that point too, which is a good thing. But you can also use, banded exercises and obviously progress, with the dumbbells and things like that. So there's so many different things you can do, but especially if dumbbells and bands are all that you have, when you start having access to, like, barbells and stuff like that, like, at home, like, to be honest,
5 kilo ones.
There fucking is no. Prantik, shut the fuck up. Right? Let the man speak. All right. At that point, literally, it like there's no excuse that there is so much you can do. There is so much shit that you can do. And Conor, do you agree on that? Like, especially when you have access to basically those type of that equipment, like there's a lot. You agree that there's a lot you can do? So Conor, like, do you think it's all like if you have access to that type of equipment, like, do you agree that the outcome that you can get from it is just great?
It helps, yeah, it does, yeah.
And that's the thing, and we want people to understand that, like, especially when if you're kind of looking back now and thinking, oh, I wish I did something during COVID. Well, just know if something like this was to happen again, there is, and the question is, like, to be honest, fucking speak to Conor and Nick because we can help you, all right? But yeah. So in like back on the question, like, do people need to buy equipment? Do people need to go out and spend $1,000, $2,000 on a piece of equipment? Well, for starters, depends who you are. But if you're a powerlifter, you might want to spend some money. But if you're just your gen pop person and you got access to a good array of dumbbells at home, maybe some resistance bands, there's a lot you can do with that. All right, and it's probably worth going through certain phases at home before going back into the gym and really tackling other aspects of training. So that's basically my input on it. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Conor, what do you have in your garage?
I've got like a bunch of weight plates. I've got about 180 kilos of weights and bar included, actually.
You've got 2.5 more than me.
Then I've got of like a different style of bar, probably like 130 kilos of weights that fit in those ones. But back on the question of what's good for people to invest in, I think with a lot of things, I think shoes can look cool, but I don't really see the value in spending $200 in shoes. It's just not worth $200 to me. But I could see a $5 Kit Kat and I could decide that's worth it for me. So these kind of principles apply to people looking for what home gym stuff they want. If we understand that we can make progress from literally nothing up to a point, there'll be a bit of diminishing returns, especially as you're stronger and stronger and more advanced and more used to metabolic stuff. But if you don't fit in that category, you can progress again for a fair while on just bodyweight stuff if you do it right, which is pretty messed up. That's right, and then you get into that kind of question: what is my fitness worth to me? What is my potential powerlifting numbers worth to me? I miss the bench press. A bench press is worth $100 to me, I might find. So I wouldn't spend 120. I would spend 90. It's pretty obvious, So I think it's up to people to kind of find those numbers, which again, it's sort of based on their budget and the like. But I think the best thing you can first look into is dumbbells are handy in terms of how expensive they are compared to, how much they can cost. I think I said the same thing. The benefits you can have compared to the cost.
That made no fucking sense at all.
So because you can get the adjustable ones that you can, instead of just buying like a 6 kilo weight and 8 kilo weight.
Yeah.
Those adjustable
that's costly
ones
versus just the spit. Yeah, but I think it's cheaper overall versus
for the selection what you get. The selection what you get, it's cheaper than buying all those different dumbbells.
Yeah.
Individually, yeah. So it's like got multi-purposes for a lower price than will be the sum of the other ones, but that's because it's multi-beneficial, So I think that's handy. Then you might invest in the band. Again, if you really, really were in love with your squat, your bench press, your deadlift, then obviously you're going to invest in the barb first. I think, again, I valued it as important enough for me. I had the spare time. I had the stimulus check. We may as well get a bar, and some weights. So again, it kind of depends where you're at. Like, again, that's definitely up to the person. You need to be aware that you can make overall better and better and better progress the more equipment you have, but it's not worth it up to a point. And you got to find where that point is. I can't tell you where it is. If I do, you end up presenting me as a trainer and leaving me as well. So,
you know what I did? I used the gallon bottles that are available here. I had like a ton of them. So I went to the beach. The beach is 5 minutes from here. Uh, I filled up the gallon bottle with sand. That took a lot of patience. And then I did 4 gallon bottles. So 2 of them with just dry sand and 2 of them with sand and soaked in water. So I put in water later. So what that did was I measured each, and the dry ones were at 17 pounds each, and then the wet ones went up to 22 pounds. So that was some real scientific shit right there. For those out there that just making excuses that I don't have weights, just go ahead, go to the nearest beach. One person at a time can like enter and exit. So go take your gallon bottles, take your goddamn Mazda, and go to the
Yeah.
beach. Fill up those bottles with sand. That's for free. You don't even have to buy it from a proprietor. So just go fill those up, do the variations, put some water in there, check the weights. That's free weights from a natural beach right there. So I should get $100 for that idea. But I have also concrete dumbbells sitting out there. What I did was just use the pipes, and I had a couple of wooden poles laying around. I chopped it up at grip length, and then leaving some extra space on both sides. Put it down on both sides of the gallon bottles. Put a screw through it so that it doesn't come out. And then I just poured concrete in there. The ready-made concrete mix that comes for $8. And I got a home gym set up for about $100, which
Nice.
otherwise people would spend thousands. And this was for basic workout. I got mad pumps from that on my biceps. I wish I had pictures, but I can definitely upload some pictures when we have a link to our YouTube videos as well, where people can see what we actually have on our garage. So Nick can actually take a picture of what he has in his garage. Conor can take a picture of what he has in his garage, and obviously with the broken bar if you still have it. And I can take a picture of what I made in my garage, and then we can all put a picture, and I think people can relate to it, to both sides of working out. I mean, you have bands, you have few weight availability, you have natural resources. Make use of that. If you're a creative person like me, make use of that. Obviously, measure stuff out. So quality over quantity. You need to check the quality of stuff that you're making. I mean, you have a weight machine in the house. Just those who think that, oh, it's not going to be even, just lift the goddamn jar up, get up on the weight machine, record your weight, and then get down and just record your body weight. Then do a subtraction, and there you go. Voila, that's mathematics. Those who are not studying enough, please study. So I feel like these are natural methods. I would like to get your inputs on these. What do you guys think about stuff like that?
Oh, I think it's handy. Like one time I was really in the mood to lift 80 kilos. So I had my neighbor, I should say former neighbor, he was walking by and I'm like, you know what? How much do you weigh, sir? And he said, 80 kilos. I'm like, okay, I think there's a solution here. So I grabbed my shovel and no. Look, you can find plenty of things around the house to like do whatever. So like Nick mentioned, the kids jumping up and honestly, yeah, get creative. I think honestly as well, we're actually not limited too much by creativity, if I'm being honest in terms of this, because there's literally so much stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine the creativity was the extent you need to lift yourself up beyond the current level of information. I've seen so many things out there as crazy. So I think you like explore a little bit, and even if you're not a creative person, all the answers will appear in front of you. Yeah. So I think what I've seen, so like leg curl. Yeah, so leg curl on the band, like Nick was mentioning, I just like attached it around a pole or a tree that's nearby. And you can do the same thing just to like get bent over for a pull down variation, for a face pull. Again, you just like, okay, where's it going to challenge me? Does that function the muscles in the range I want? Yep, cool. All right, tick.
What about you, Nick? What do you think?
For progressions? Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So like for me, like obviously, like if you have access to adding weight to an exercise, of course, like that's a good starting point. But making an exercise harder, something as simple as push-ups. If you're doing just your normal standard push-ups, You can transfer those into dumbbell push-ups, just creating a bit more range, or you can put your feet up on something and add, elevator push-ups, manipulating tempo. That's another big one. And to be honest, it's an aspect of training that not many people actually like really concentrate on. And it is ideal if you did. But anyways, progressing more sets is another one, whether you like the method of adding, a set per week, or however your training is structured, if you're adding a set per whatever muscle group you're training, or, if you've taken an exercise, one exercise to failure, and then the next week you're able to take 2 sets of that exercise to failure, just things like that. There's so many different ways, you can progress, but there's some of the methods that I've been, concentrating on at this point because I have access to that. But yeah, that's my take on it.
On equipments and creativity, I feel like does the Olympic bars, do they go through the rims of your car wheel? I mean, like, I would love to see you guys try that out. Like, jack your car up on a car jack and then take your wheels out, and those wheels are heavy. If you have alloy wheels, then it's heavier. So measure the wheels out and see if you can put it on the bar and then lift it. I mean, that's 4 wheels right there. Obviously, you have a car sitting on bricks.
Maybe I can roll you up into a ball and put you on my bar and see what happens then, huh?
I mean, I'm just experimenting creative side of lifting. You might try that. Conor can actually try that. You have a car that's yeah, you don't know. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I mean, I would definitely love to try it with my car. I would like take the wheels out and see if I can, press the wheels over my overhead press with the wheels.
Yeah.
With all these like forms of progression, that stuff too. Like another topic, I think, especially in the beginning of ISO, I felt like a lot of my clients / a lot of social media people that I follow and things like that, not even just like industry experts, just general people, those that were obviously limited to so much, and their goal is still, I still want to lose 15 kilos, or they still have these, just I don't know how to really put it in perspective, but I think some people are afraid of like the fact that, look, you might actually have to change some things up. You might actually maybe need to put a hold on your fat loss goal at the moment, maybe, bring your calories up for a bit, go through a maintenance phase, or just things like that. So I think, nutrition structure can just be equally as important, because here's another thing, someone like me, during our first isolation, I was so, what's the word? I think I was too fixated on like that process of like, I need to keep my weight under control. And to be honest, I did the exact opposite. I put on like 7 kilos, right? And as much as I thought I was like eating the same, fact of the matter is, like, my daily activity actually just went down. When if you're someone that just does their daily step counts and things like that, I mean, I swear to God, I was doing like 1,500 a day. Like, I just was not moving, like literally at all.
You can't. Where would you go?
Well, yeah, exactly. But I just, like, even small things, just moving around the house, or like doing yard work, just shit like that. Like, I wasn't doing that. I was just a couch potato. So I think, like, when people are starting to change their lifestyle habits just to kind of accommodate what they're doing, I think whether they were in a calorie deficit, or whether they're in a maintenance and then they want to go to a calorie deficit, or they're in a surplus and they want to put on muscle because they have access to all these equipment, but then, like, they're literally their NEAT is down or some shit, and then next minute they're getting fatter, just things like that. Like, I think I noticed in the first isolation, there was a lot of that going on, and I think people were just kind of looking at training specifically and maybe eating in that manner, but then, like, kind of ignoring everything else. Because let's be honest, when life is normal, we tend to be a bit more active. We tend to be out more. We tend to be doing things more on our feet more. That we kind of just took, got rid of all that, right? And things change. So you actually need to start like probably going for walks to make up for that, daily step count or just that daily activity. You need to start doing things that you probably weren't used to doing. But basically what I want to kind of go with that is, if we look at nutrition specifically, does this change now? What like that's the next topic we got going here. Should nutrition change as a consequence, to different training now, and different lifestyle setups now. One thing I think that's improved most for me is sleeping. All right. And the fact I think we all have. I think sleep being the major thing that's improved over this last year, considering I just went from horrible sleep. Okay, improving sleep is better for recovering or performances and things like that. But okay, where can I take that kind of thing? So I reckon we should create a topic here, talk about changes to nutrition. Should people should just be fully focusing on just trying to lose fat the entire time? What things like that. Let's talk about this. I want to talk about this a bit more.
Conor O'Brien, go ahead. You're the nutrition expert. Cocoa Pops.
Cocoa Pops, that's the secret, just more Cocoa Pops. Yeah, as Nick mentioned, like I think with a lot of people, their NEAT would go down and they wouldn't have as many steps throughout the day. So again, the principles never change. They really do. So one of the principles, for example, is just caloric balance. So if you burn more calories than you eat, you'll lose weight, and vice versa. So a lot of people just weren't burning as much, even if their nutritional behaviors were similar. They're just sitting on the couch, like Nick said, just being couch potato. So if you equate all that things, one thing I want to get to with strategy, if you equate all the little things, it's very easy psychologically to, okay, this is a break, it's isolation, it's not the real world, you eat differently, but we'll pretend all those things are factored. Maybe we can come back to that topic later with Nick, but especially if you're missing equipment and you're not able to train body parts as well, and you're not able to create an anabolic environment as possible, the extremities of rapid weight gain and rapid weight loss both suffer. Because one of the things why we train at the gym as we try and lose weight is we're trying to retain muscle. We could just lose weight just like, just losing the calories and creating that deficit. But we train, to make sure that if we lose 2 kilos, it's going to be 2 kilos of fat, not a kilo of muscle, kilo of fat. And the same way, if we're trying to bulk and we're not able to stimulate all the muscles correctly, we're not going to be able to grow as much. So now, if you put on 2 kilos, instead of it being a kilo of muscle, kilo of fat, and those more things there, it's now 2 kilos of just fat. So you can still nudge things either way, especially if your principle is just general lose weight, which again can have a lot of suffering if you lose a lot of muscles, both metabolic-wise and psychology-wise. But I find just gentle nudges either way work better rather than really aggressive ones, because we don't have that anabolic potential to either retain muscle as well as we otherwise would have, or again, as much anabolic properties to gain maximally. So again, you can still go in the progression mode, just back down the percentages rather than lose 1.5 kilos a week. Maybe it's more like 0.75 kilos a week if you're just training things.
Did you find a lot of your clients? I was going to say, did you find maybe not necessarily your clients actually, but just people in general, did you find that a lot of them just wanted to have, lose drastic or make drastic weight changes, by losing weight and things like that? Did you find you saw a lot of people wanting that and then literally just finding themselves not?
I personally like drastic amounts. I think most of my people were pretty checked, luckily. But there definitely will be people out there like, okay, it's isolation. I need to do something. Even I found really weird ways. I was trying to lose weight way too rapidly at a stage because here's the thing. A big part of my psychology and even function of dopamine is it rewards progress. And let's say now you can't progress in your business because you're locked down. You can't progress potentially in your relationship because you're not seeing them as much. You can't progress in all these different factors. The weights in the bar are limited, so you can't progress that way. I found myself in a weird scenario where I was trying to lose weight rapidly because I like to improve some variables in my life, and it was the only thing I could actually see doing. I got in the way of other things and it was a mess. But it's weird how that can that need to progress can get in the way. Now, as for people like wanting to lose weight, I found people weren't maintaining weight. They were either compensating probably too hard, like, oh, I'm not going to move it around as much. So let's say theoretically they're going to move, 400 calories via NEAT. They cut back 1,000. And there's other people who's like, oh, nothing's going to happen. And they gained. It's like very few people were like neutral. It's like they either overcompensated, which is kind of beneficial in certain ways, or they just didn't. And they saw, particularly, I think the psych factor of isolation is in real life. I know even like though it is our current life at the moment, when we picture our future, like if you imagine yourself as 60, you're probably on a beach somewhere, you're not in coronavirus, isolation time. I think a lot of people just struggle to picture as a real world when really we've got to adapt to it. So I think, I definitely saw a fair bit of that, Nick. How about yourself?
Oh, like everywhere. And you're like, when you see too much of something pushed one way, you almost want to try and like let people know that, hey guys, it's okay to maintain. It's okay to, especially if you're, someone that's losing weight. All the goal is to lose drastic amounts of weight. Like I just felt like, talking to them and just saying, asking the question, why do you want to lose, so much weight at this point? Is it because you're in ISO now and that's all you think that, a lot of the time, if you speak to a lot of, girls in particular, that's all they know. All a lot of Gen Pop, that's really all they know is to lose weight. You don't hear a lot of them talk about, maintenance calories, trying to maintain weight, or even trying to gain weight, or anything like that. I find I'm in such scenarios talking to people, and the moment you bring up, let's say they've gone through a fat loss stage. Okay, we're going to go, do probably a bit of a maintenance phase. Maybe, their weight might fluctuate 1 to 2 kilos in the increase, but then, going to, maintain this for a certain while and before we go back down again. Some people just can't process that in their brain. And they're just like, oh my God, no, I have to consistently lose 20 kilos and there cannot be any breaks in between or fluctuations, going further up before I go back. It's just, it has to be 20 kilos drop and that's it. And, I saw a lot of that, and I think to be honest, it's a fear. It's fear. It's again, like a lot of it's a psychological battle that comes up. The fact that it's a lack of understanding too, and that's one thing. I actually just listened for. I wanted to, Prantik, I am so taken back by your sunnies at the moment. Is some fucking sick ass shit. But anyways, I found myself in a position where I was hearing a lot of stories about weight loss is the only thing, and not just weight loss. It is I'm gonna have to do everything I can to lose that weight, and there's nothing else. And the moment you have the conversation, oh, what are you gonna do after you lose the weight? They've got no clue either. And so I guess I found myself on that end.
I would like to weigh in and say something. I feel like people have regressed with this measure that Nick was just measuring. Nick was just mentioning. I mean, let's do a weight loss. Let's do a weight loss. But has anyone reached out to anyone expert out there? What is the correct way of losing weight? You can actually consume 3,000 calories a day and still lose weight if you have enough to burn. That's my question. But obviously 3,000 calories are it's a little far-fetched and it's a little satellitic calorie. But I'm talking about let's say 1,500 calories a day. That's fairly consumable. You eat you go to the Macca's and you get a double quarter pounder and that's it. Dang, that's one meal, 1,500 kilocalories worth of stuff. But are you doing enough to burn it? That's the question. Now, people think that, oh, I'm just doing 10,000 steps a day and that should burn it. No, it doesn't. That's totally absolute BS. It doesn't. Because I tried it on myself. And, you guys know I like to experiment stuff on myself. So this is with the food experimentation that I'm talking about. So what I did was I based myself that 4 days a week I'll eat outside. By that I mean I was switching between Mexican food, that includes tacos and stuff. I was switching between a local pizzeria. I was switching between Burger King, which is Hungry Jack's at your place, I don't know why the name changed, but and obviously our famous McDonald's or Macca's in the land down under. So I was trying all these sort of stuff, and I was monitoring my weight. I was sitting at 160 pounds, and the noticeable factor that I saw is with the 5 pounds I gained after that, so 165, it was just belly fat. Like my belly, I was bloated, and my belly was out. And
are you trying to say that the food content matters, or are you talking about
the quality
like
of
you're
food,
saying?
because people missed eating outside. So that's what I'm saying. Like when everything was open, you went to a cafe, you got a nice poached egg,
Yeah.
avocado on toast, stuff like that, you know. And when you're in quarantine and when you're sitting at home all day, you're sleeping and everything is messed up. You know how things are. And then you go out, you don't see your favorite restaurant open. And what you get, you rage and you get a Macca's. You grab fries, you grab 10-piece nuggets, you grab a Fanta effing orange. And then we have tons of flavor here. So
I think at the end of the day, like, just as Conor was mentioning, you know, it's calories in, calories out. So if you're cycling through those 4 fast food chains and you're simply not like doing any kind of activity at all and thinking you can, let's just say calories are equated, and you know, regardless of where the food comes from, calories are the exact same as before ISO and after, you know, during ISO. But during ISO now we're entering those 4 different restaurants of food. If your activity levels have gone down, of course you're going to put on weight.
mm-hmm.
You know,
And it's not
if
a
daily expenditure has gone down,
it's not a
you know,
healthy
it's
weight.
not a matter of, yeah, it's not a healthy weight, of course not. But you know, regardless of quality of food, I will say in a sense, just literally food intake versus, you know, how much you're expending. That's the major difference there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, like, I don't know, that you can. I'm not advocating it, but you can get away with it if that's all you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. I'm not advocating it, but you can get away with it.
If you're working out, that's what you're putting in perspective as well. You can get away with it, but you don't want to end up stuck. You don't want to end up regressed. Like suppose you started a movement in January, and then by July, when gyms open and you're back there, and you see all yourself in the mirror as this fat bellied person, so you've actually regressed. Even though you're like, oh, I'm safe. I'm not eating 5 meals a day. I just ate 3 meals a day, and out of that, one was the full Macca's Happy Meal. What the hell, man? You're making a mistake. You're not actually compromising those 5 meals that you eat, which is just bland chicken. Obviously, not all people eat that, but whatever you're eating, that has the fat content and everything is counted out for those who are really counting their calories and knows what they eat. And I feel like the physique programmer would like to weigh in on this as well. He's giving us a lot of smirks and smiles. Food, Connor, food, how important is it? And I mean, like, obviously, going back to what Nick questioned as well. What have you been eating?
Okay, full transparency. I was smiling because I'm looking at your glasses, right? And in the reflection of the glasses, I'm trying to figure out your room. I'm slowly figuring out like everything about you now. No,
Spy.
yeah, like as Nick was mentioning, like caloric. I'm not sure if you guys were arguing different points to the same points, to be honest. Because I think, yeah, if you're expending less, there's gonna be a lot, you know, more issues with what you can get away with just by sheer calorie balance, as well as the more you move around, the better your nutrient partitioning is. So even with calories equated, you would get more uptake in the areas you want it versus the areas you don't. I think with your belly fat thing, you know, there's probably maybe some body fat just via excess calories and a few other things, but there's probably a lot of like inflammation and stuff like that. Like a lot of the ingredients, like towards like, you know, the Macca's, the Burger King, the Taco Bell. What was the other one? You had 4.
Yeah, the Burger King, the Macca's, Taco Bell, and I don't know about Taco Bell, but yeah, definitely Taco Bell, and obviously the local pizzeria.
Okay, yeah, it's a lot of issues. I mean, people vary with how much they have like sensitivities to full-on intolerances of those different things, but A lot of the trans fats no one really does well with, and you see a lot of issues there. Then you get more of a stress response because you don't feel good eating it, and the more stressed you are, the more water retention you have in your midsection. Like, things are all interchanged in weird and funny ways. So I think that's my thoughts on that main one there. So I feel like, especially if we've got so many variables in our life that are changing with, our steps are going down, we're training differently. I think when you're trying to figure out what do we do next and what is causing things, the more things you can keep controlled, the better. So rather than changing nutrition straight away, it's almost like, unless you're quite, on it, you can just, okay, training's going to change, steps going to change. Okay, what happened to the physique this week? And if it's not how you like it, you change nutrition and go from there. Hopefully that kind of answers the question, Tick.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a hierarchy in terms of, where to start from, what's the baseline, what's the most important thing to look at, before we go to the rest of things, especially with nutrition as well. I was actually going to I guess before you were talking about, I think the main argument was, food quality versus food quantity. I was actually listening to a podcast recently, and
no promotion.
The bodybuilder, the bodybuilder Jordan Peters, he was actually talking about, because Lane Norton's very much, if it fits your macros kind of thing. And he's got an app out at the moment. It's actually quite, smart. But I think Jordan Peters' argument was, he said, look, yes, from a calorie standpoint, it doesn't matter, whether it's coming from a burger or whether it's coming from beef and rice and kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what Jordan Peters argued, the benefits of obviously food quality is just, if you're so on point with training, you're so on point with recovery and things like that, food quality comes in at that point. And that was his argument. If you got, you got potatoes or rice that you have as an option, or you got these gummy bears that might be equated for the same calories, what's going to give you the better recovery capabilities, and obviously he said, I would rather opt for the rice and the potatoes at that point. That was just one example. But purely just on, everything that we just talked about, I think, how Conor, summarize that, and just at the end of the day, calories in, calories out. If you're just a Gen Pop person, that's calories will probably be the baseline. If you can just take care of that, that's the first step before I'll probably look towards anything else. I think people look at the wrong things first. Like, for example, what supplements do I take? When should I eat and things like that. I think the most important thing, especially during an ISO period, is finding out what you can stick to, and look, ticking off the calorie box. And if you can tick off that box and you can kind of psychologically just get that down pat, right, before you move on to anything else, that's the most important thing. If you have a coach, right, they're probably going to highlight the importance of calories, but probably sneakily put the other, micro things that do the micro things, right, that he'll probably start putting those things in at that point in time. So, I think just get the base right first before you kind of play around with too much other things. True. If you're a person that loves to have a freaking taco on Tuesday, right, and then you just cannot live life without it, right, because you aspire to be in LeBron James and Taco Tuesday is your thing, right? Look, you can find a way to fit it in. It's not the end of the world. If that's going to help you stick to your calories for the rest of the week, it's a good thing. All right. So that's basically my take on it. But if you're hardcore level bodybuilding, you just care about fucking making sure that you'll be able to lift the next session like Jordan Peters, okay, food choices at that point, there's an argument for that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bacon.
Actually, I think there's tomato. One more. Oh, fuck. What? Actually, has anyone ever had Conor's, what do you call them? French toast.
What do you mean by anyone? It's just me.
Well, we have viewers out there, you dumb fuck.
They won't know who Conor is until they see their face. And how would they have Conor's Bacon toast.
Listen here, you
Can you
little
put some brains on
fucking.
him? He uses your name. It's known as the Greek physique. I don't know why. You seen this,
Alright,
right?
alright. Fucking hell. Ah, man. Fuck you. Okay, alright.
All right, yeah.
We gotta. This is, I think, the last thing we can talk about here is well, will we keep doing home training once gyms reopen? I think the real question is, will people in general just think this is the new norm? You know, like, will Gen Pop probably think, oh, why do I need to go to a gym now when I can train at home? You know, is Zoom the new thing? Obviously, your hardcore bodybuilders and powerlifters and, just, what do you call them? Hard gainers at the gym and shit like that. Your bros and all that, they'll probably be back there, but you'll probably find a larger population of people. Who knows? I'm not actually 100% sure, where it's kind of going. But to be honest, I think people will find their ways back to the gym. Something, I know a lot of people use it as an escape realm, like things are crazy at home, like kids, whatever, like they just want to kind of get away and do something. This is their chance to get away and do something. Again, you can, find friends there, you can develop a community of people there. There's so many different things that you can get out of it. So I think people, as much as they will, when all this is done, they might actually do some home training and things like that. They'll eventually find their ways back into the gym. That's my take on that.
True. Conor.
Yeah, I think we chatted a fair bit about this is where you plug your other podcast. So I think, just literally depends on the individual. If you're really introverted, particularly neurotic, scared of crowds, then, maybe you use these tools to keep and training at home. For other people, each imagined piece of equipment has pros and cons. Whatever piece of equipment you don't have at home, you're just leaving more and more pros on the table at the gym. There's certain things that we can't do too well. For example, me, I can't do vertical pulls too well. So like lat pull downs, chin ups, I don't have that availability. And then even if I do have that, I'm stuck to my body weight. So I'll enjoy it for that reason. I think people that really care about the progress will realize that, look, every little piece you don't have to a degree will limit you. And then obviously you got more of the other factors of, humans are parabonding. We like, share experiences.
A question for you. There's, you're talking about, there's a lot of, like, if you don't have access to things, that's, it's a shame kind of thing. Does it provide any benefit for the moment you do have access to it? For example, you're not very good at vertical pulls or, your lat pull downs and your pull-ups and things like that. By the time we come back to the gym, will it have a better benefit for you when you return, like, or better than before, shall I say?
That's a good question.
Just depends on what you mean. Like, you come back to the gym, you haven't done lat pull downs, it'd be worse lat pull downs. But in terms of like your minimum effective dose, like for a particular kind of stimulus or range of motion, if you haven't been doing something, just like when you start the gym, you almost get a degree of newbie gains again. So this is like definitely an argument for variation. So if there's certain variations in lifts or exercises or rep ranges or tempos that you haven't done and you now do them, you'll get more of a response versus if you've been doing them week after week after week, beating the hammer over and over again. So definitely, for the things that...
Are you going to utilize that?
Yeah. So you definitely play catch up. So one of the big principles we use as trainers is structural balance. So if you get all your muscles pretty strong and even ratio, it's good for injury prevention as well as it can almost transfer to other lifts. So basically you might just do a bunch of pull downs, but it might indirectly strengthen something else. So again, just like anything with training, a big part of my philosophy, because of those like effective dosages and stuff, is you want to find things with the lowest thresholds in terms of you do it, you're going to get a great response. And that will change over time. But yeah, when we do get back, 100%, there's going to be particular things I haven't been able to do for a while I'm going to take advantage of. I'm looking forward to not having to use my lower back pretty much in every single exercise. Like I'd enjoy a leg press because home gym, everything you have to use your back to a degree. So if its heat levels shoot up and then it hurts everything else, squats affect your deadlifts, affects your bent over rows, affects your RDLs, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, definitely. I think a lot of my clients will as well. So again, you just, whatever's weaker, you put more investments in there, better returns.
Have you found that in America, like, did most people, when the gyms reopened, they just fly back there? Or were you finding people still training at home?
I mean, like, I knew. Let me put an example of Evan Sandapani. He's a famous bodybuilder. He's always had a home gym, but he says this is through a friend who knows him very well. So he says Evan actually enjoys coming to the gym once or twice every week because he has that company around where people are working out, and then the huge selection of machines he get, and obviously he enjoys the environment all around. So I feel that is something that you don't get. And this year I'm talking about a serious bodybuilder whose profession is bodybuilding, full-time bodybuilding, eating, dieting, bodybuilding. A professional, to an extent, also gets bored out working at his home gym, and they do come out to public and work out in public spaces as well. Because it's not because they want to show off; it's because their mindset is. It's a public game. Bodybuilding is a public game. I'm talking in the perspective of bodybuilding purely right now. Bodybuilding is a public game. You want to show off rather than, you need to show off. I would say it like that because that's what earns your bread. And up to a certain extent, when you're working at your home gym in confinement and you have that rah rah rah, that music playing, you would want to get out of that once in a while, meet other people, see new people, work out around them. And if I put it in my perspective, I did see a lot of people come back to my gym. A lot of people I spoke to had weights at home, had access to quality equipments as well, but they did come back to the gym because they didn't have access to the environment in the gym. Where they're amidst a lot of people, they're talking, catching up with other people in between sets, which is not ideal for longer periods of time. But maybe hey, how you doing? How's your week been? How was your ISO? Stuff like that. You're catching up with.
They find themselves returning to the gym for the same reason why they joined the gym in the first place.
Exactly.
You're never gonna, like, unless you get on the computer and go searching for it, I don't think you're ever gonna really learn as much from those people that you kind of really surround yourselves from at the gym and things like that. So if you have an environment where you're just at a gym where you're surrounded by good coaches, good people, people wanting to progress and learn and things like that, if you're opting to not return to that, then take a fucking hard look at yourself. like there's a lot that you're kind of kissing goodbye, for little gain, shall we say.
So what do you guys reckon? You guys had an effective ISO?
Oh.
Are you going through an effective ISO?
Oh, no, I'm actually looking at the time, but we definitely got to wrap it up, don't we?
That's what I'm wrapping up.
Yeah, my ISO was a good experience. I think it's good to do once in a... It was something different, I think there's definitely reasons why I enjoy being back. I definitely was appreciative while I was back. But then again, that was for more reasons than one. It wasn't just the gym equipment. It was the environment. It was being able to work a bit more. It was all those things. So, look, I enjoyed it in its own merits. It definitely had its pros. But overall, yeah, I'll be back in the gym.
Perfect. Nick?
Me? 100%. No, I'm not coming back to gym. Fuck that.
Gym is your life.
Huh?
Gym is your life. That's where you earn the bread.
Yeah. It's gonna like be my room, computer on, night vision camera on, actually. Go from there.
Yeah, Zoom calls.
That's it. Nice. 101, very nice.
So, in terms of wrapping up, I feel like we had a great amount of content today. We shared a lot of perspective. We kind of went in a natural flow of things. I didn't even, to be honest, I looked at the questions or prompts 2 or 3 times today. And it was good. We had a nice compact discussion. We covered most of the points. I think the Gen Pop will be able to relate to most of the stuff as well. When the YouTube videos come up, go check out our YouTube link, and you'll be able to see what we have been working with, what Nick has been working with, Conor has been working with, and I have been working with, and how our ISOs have been. We have been productive, so that's why we started this podcast in the first place, to definitely to help people out and to get what's in our mind out there. So again, thank you everyone for listening in to the Forget podcast. Copyright reasons. And I feel like we will keep doing this kind of friendly, productive discussions which have a lot of packed information in them. Obviously, these two gentlemen out there from the land down under is giving us a lot of usable information. If anybody wants to get in touch with any one of us, obviously our socials are linked to the description of the podcast and our descriptions everywhere. It will be provided. Feel free to reach out to us through our emails, through our socials. Hop in. Nick and Conor is always there to help out with sessions, lessons online. I mean, like, this was kind of persistent from a long time. People just got used to it recently. Online coaching has been there for a long time, and it has just become more prominent these days. So Nick and Conor is highly effective personal trainers. Once again, they're very good at what they do. And if you want to maximize your isolation from wherever you're isolating yourself, please get in touch with Nick and Conor, especially Conor, how to do all those banded exercises and stuff. Obviously, any suggestions on equipments, what to buy, they would also be able to help you out a lot. People from this side of the world, America, if you want equipment suggestions, I have a website and quite a lot of stuff on my mind as well. Get in touch with us, and we will definitely be able to help you guys out. With that, we bring that end to episode 3 of Forget podcast, and we call it a good night to our friends and a good morning to me. So, anything else you guys want to add?
I think I'm pretty good personally. You, Nick?
Splendid.
So, as usual,
adios.
Size is the prize, soul is the goal. Let's get this.
Thank you for watching the Forge podcast. If you enjoyed it, we'd love for you to subscribe. If you want to find out more about us, check the description. And as always, thank you for listening.